What if I told you that the most important parts of your drawing isn't what you're doing, but what you're saying? Sounds weird, right? But the truth is, every line you put down is a part of a conversation, and the way you think about that conversation can completely change the way you draw. Let me show you why shifting your mindset is the fastest way to level up not only your portrait drawings, but your art in general. Quick story time to make my point. At 14 years old, I made the decision that art is all I ever wanted to do. I looked up YouTube videos and did all of the how-to videos on the net, but my progress was slow, and even though it was present, it just didn't feel enough. And you know what I mean by that. That feeling that although I am getting better, it's not enough for a job, career, or all of the followers and all of that nonsense that our brain ties our self-worth to. Not until one day, as I sent over my drawings to my mentor, Chris Legaspi, instead of getting the usual fix this by doing this, he said to me, "When are you going to stop practicing drawing and say something?" I had no idea what that meant until he told me to look at what I'm drawing and do more than just copy it. Say something about it that you like and emphasize that. And after a year of approaching art this way, I've made more progress in this year alone than the 5-10 years that I've been studying prior, purely because of a method that I've dubbed dialogue-driven drawing, which in simplest of terms is drawing with the intent to tell others not only what you see, but what you feel. Throughout this video, I'll explain exactly how to achieve this, but I have to preface with this. I would not have made as much progress as I've made if I didn't have my mentor helping me see things I was oblivious to. I'm not saying you can't do this alone, but insight from someone with more experience and a different vision can help you see things you'd probably never see if you're just alone. Every time I had a question about how to achieve a desired look or was stuck, he was there to show me how to figure it out. Seriously, look at the progress I've made in just 2 years. I wouldn't have been able to if I didn't have him and a community of artists helping me and each other grow. If you'd like that same help, I'll explain how to get it at the end of the video. But for now, let's talk about how to practice dialogue-driven drawing. One of the first and most important parts of dialogue-driven drawing is not even the drawing itself. It's reading the image. This is the part most people skip. We see an image we like and quickly go into copy mode, but let's just do the opposite. Let's take a break and look at the image and form our own opinions about it. Let me show you how. Let me take a look at this reference image and write out how it made me feel. What's the first thing that caught my attention? Why did it catch my attention? How do I make others feel the same way I felt when I looked at this image? As I look at this image, I knew I was drawn to her eyes first. Her big, youthful eyes are looking directly at me, so when I'm drawing, I want people to see my image and feel like big, youthful eyes are doing the same exact things. I am not thinking about how do I make her eyes look at her eyes. I'm thinking, how do I make my drawing feel like big, youthful eyes to whoever looks at my image? There's also a seriousness about her that this image is portraying. I'd love to capture that feeling of seriousness. How do I do that? What did the photographer and the model do to invoke this feeling of seriousness? These are the type of questions that once you start asking them, you realize you're doing more than just drawing. You're having a conversation, a dialogue. The drawing that I'm creating is being created not because I just want everything to look one-to-one like the reference, but purely because I want whoever looks at the image that I create to see something more than just copied. But Will, how do I know what questions to ask? I can only answer that from my experience, and it's this. Most of this is subjective. Every question and every answer, it's about 80% all on you. But just like a sad song will play specific notes to draw sadness from the listener, the artist should do the same. When I started off, as you can see, I had the background of the image white. I didn't really see the relevance of making it dark until I asked my mentor, why doesn't it feel as serious as I'd like it to feel? And he said, it could be because of the background. The darkness of the background makes people feel a little uneasy. It forces you to search for light and focus on it. The light background I had clashed too much with her light skin, and in turn stops the viewer from being able to truly look at what I want them to look at or feel, because there's no contrast. On my own, I would not have known this if I didn't have another trained eye to express it to me and my mentor. This is why it's important to be able to hear other voices as well. So just like the sad song that plays specific notes to trigger an emotion, I will do the same by adding things that make humans react with a specific emotion. Dialogue-driven drawing helps with understanding the fundamentals of drawings and shadings as well. I say drawing and shading separately because I feel like the two should be treated separately, but with each step in mind. For example, this is how the dialogue should go in your mind. It's tough having depth in an image with no value changes. So let's think about how to say things with line work instead. That means figuring out what shape can best describe what I'm trying to say about what I'm looking at. I know it sounds complicated, so stay with me. If I ask you to draw a face with no reference, most people would draw something reminiscent of this. Because this is your brain's way of simplifying a face, or anything in that matter. But that's just it. That's not really what a face is. A face, in its most simplest of form, is a sphere. And within this sphere are planes that describe things within the face, such as the nose, the mouth, the lips. These are just labels describing planes, and nothing more. This means getting rid of every idea you've had about something and see it for what it really is. That's what makes drawing so difficult. You've got to completely rewire your ideas about something and see the world around us. I honestly think that's why a lot of artists are usually super deep and thought-provoking in person. But back on topic. With all that being said, drawing is purely describing what we see in an image with shape and line. Shading is describing what we see with value and edge. So as I look at this image and draw, I want to tell you how round her cheeks are, how round her nose is, how almond-like her eyes are, all through line. And when I shade, I want to tell you about how bright her skin is and how it contrasts with the shadow, how soft her features are, all through value. With all that being said, dialogue-driven drawing has led me to understand so much more about art, and through that, genuinely put me in a place where drawing has become more therapeutic. I'm no longer drawing to copy, but drawing to understand. And in doing that, my obsession with understanding how to communicate with other people through a visual mean, I've gotten so much better at doing the thing that I love doing. That being said, there are some things we need to learn in order to communicate with people effectively. And figuring out how to do that alone is such a daunting task. Being a part of a community of artists and getting feedback has been so important for growth, for my growth. I cannot stress it enough. If not for the community I'm in and my mentor, Chris Legaspi, I'd be stuck in an endless loop of drawing and giving up and drawing and giving up and recommitment and all of that. And that's why he created Academy of Drawing Excellence. If you don't have a community of artists looking to grow and get better, consider joining us on SKOOL. The link will be in the description box below and in my Instagram. But with all that being said, thank you so much for making it this far, and I hope you really took something out of this. Give dialogue-driven drawing a try and let me know if it changes how you see art. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. It'd mean the world to me. Thank you.